I think we're pretty much ahead of the game on money, more or less. There is, I think, an MP up inside the bell down there, but you got to do a really tricky double jump off one of the Dullahammer heads to get it. And it's just not worth it for MP. It is worth it to come up here and get scrambled eggs and some cash, though. 1 point of mine and 2,000 bucks. That's a good haul. I actually really like spears in this game. That partisan is a spear. Here's another horse. We didn't get another kick expertise, unfortunately. I think we'll have one more chance. There's one more horse coming up in this area. There goes that bell. Trying to make that bell fall too. There we go. Haha! I used your friend's head to get high enough to kill you. Is this a... I think this is a recipe. I think this is the cake recipe here. Yeah, okay. The Banshee's no longer out of depth. It's actually possible to fight them now pretty reliably. The bird creatures here that I needed for... Okay, that's just a hairstyle. That I needed for the kill quest. The one that dropped the optimizer. They also drop a piece of meat that... I don't know why I went up there. A piece of meat that you need for the meat hot pot, which is the other strength plus food item at the end of the game. But we didn't get one, and we're probably not going to get the last piece of meat either. And I'm definitely not going to come back for it. So there's a trick in the Bloodlust fight. You'll see partway through the fight, she'll pause and start sucking all the blood off the wall and getting all her health back. She actually has a kind of health meter in the fight. The length of her dress is how much health she has left. So there's a point in the fight where she'll suck blood off the wall and use it to reform her dress, and you can see her dress kind of coming back in real time. There's a trick here where if you get her off screen far enough, she can't actually get any health back. She's too far off screen. Like, her attack doesn't trigger. I have not actually been able to get it to work. And drop kicking isn't good against Bloodlust either, because her umbrella protects her. And her strongest attack, by far, is that one where she just jumps backward. Because she can do it at any point with no wind-up, and if you're behind her kicking her, she'll always hit you. So I kind of want to look for this Scarlet Cyclone attack here. That's your moneymaker in this fight. So now she's down to a miniskirt. And you can see her dress growing back. If she's all the way on one edge of the room, and you're all the way on the other, the idea is she can't get any health back. She's too far off screen. I've never gotten it to work. Okay, so now the edges of the screen are where we live. The center is going to be off limits for a moment. Of course, she's going to head over there and hide in her blood. Come on, show me a Scarlet Cyclone. You saw there, I did an accidental slide. Because I was just spamming the down kick so much. Yeah, fighting this boss. She's hard to drop kick because she's a human. She has kind of a short footprint. She's not very wide. Okay, so there's two attacks she'll do in that phase of the fight. Either she'll make the, like, blood columns here, which is kind of what you don't want to see, and then she'll make it rain, the blood rain from the ceiling, which can damage you, which you also don't want to see. You know, it'd be nice if my book friend would go ahead and give me a strength buff here. Alright, I think that was the Bloodrayne coming out. I heard her say Bloodrayne. So thankfully, we killed her before that happened. Let's go ahead and save here, and then we can progress in the game. So this is the only red shard that I'll be equipping the entire game. It's not an attack shard, it's required for progression. I don't count this as one of the exceptions to the rule of don't equip red attack shards. But it's just going to basically live in our red shard slot for the rest of the game. There is one other attack shard we are going to need to get in the next area here. Do I have anything to turn in? Yeah, I have these guys to turn in, and I think... Yeah, I think this is the last batch. Yeah, Lamashtu is the last of the kill quests we're going to be doing. Everyone say hi to Harold. What's up, Harold? Level up, Harold! What a bro! Thanks, Henry. Oh, we don't need to go anywhere. We need to kill Henry one more time. We need to walk into the castle. Because I don't think there's a teleporter room that gets us closer. The teleporter room to the entrance puts us too far away. And it's pretty much quicker. I think, anyway. Just dropkick your way in. Heading towards one of the more aggravating sections of the game, followed by one of the more aggravating sections of the game. So we're going back into the caves now. This is where you have to go into the caves to progress. You don't have a choice now. Whereas the first little excursion I did is kind of optional. You can get really powerful by going there and get a lot of good weapons and a lot of HP ups and things. But now we actually need to go in there to progress. I don't know, maybe the teleport room is a little quicker. It's kind of fun running back through the hallways in any event. Now, there's a room that we passed through a moment ago. Actually, maybe it's above us here. No, it was a moment ago. That has a recipe to make steak. So if I had gotten all the ingredients to make steak, I don't think I've got any of them, actually. I think we can't make any kind of steak. But yeah, if I had gotten the ingredients, I would have made a little sojourn up there to get the recipe. But it didn't happen. So here we are back in the caves. A Bardiche drop, that's nice. That's a good weapon. If you like spears. And I do like spears. I wouldn't mind doing an all-spear run of the game, but I don't know how much of the game you have to play before you get your first spear, is the problem. These guys are required for kills now. We've killed a few of them already going through the Halls of Termination. Now we actually do need to kill them. We'll encounter plenty. So if you go to the left there, in that hallway, you come to a room that is impassable with our current shards and equipments. This room contains another important item I did not know existed until the first run of this I did. So my first SUPERKICKS run was actually incredibly difficult, like way more difficult than it needed to be. To the point where I hesitate to even really call it a challenge run. It's really more of a style run. But we're going to get a super important item coming up here that we'll keep equipped for pretty much the rest of the game. A second crit ring. Yeah, baby. Let's put that on... Oh, it's up at the top because I have it favorited. In this area and the next few areas, blue chests can contain fried fish. And we might see a lot of fried fish. And we might see not very much fried fish at all. In any event, fried fish is kind of our main source of healing. For the last couple boss fights in the game, Mahogany. That's what we're looking for out of blue chests. It's in a couple of areas in a row, and it sells, I think it's like 2,000 a pop. It's insane. And we sure do need a lot of it if we can get it. So the more fried fish and mahogany we see coming out of these blue chests in this area and the next couple of areas, the better. In fact, there's a treasure hunt route that I used to do in the first couple runs of this. I don't think I'm going to do it in this recording, but I haven't actually had a run yet where it was required to get the money I needed. But I suspect that it's possible to not have enough money if you're unlucky. Cutting out the treasure hunting route, it's so obnoxious to do. You'll see kind of why I don't want to do it. We've been pretty lucky with money. We haven't had to sell that much, so we still have a lot still in the bank to sell later. I think we'll be okay. As long as we get some decent mahogany drops. Bats everywhere in this area. What up? If I go up there, it just loops back and makes a shortcut with the earlier cave area that we went through. And don't get excited. This is a different horse monster. It's not the same horse monster. We're not getting kick expertise. There's the Aqua stream. This is the other attack shard that we need to finish the game because it's required to move underwater like this. However, before we move on, it's pretty much the only way that we can attack underwater right now. It's also just a really good shard in general for attacking. If you have high int builds, which we don't. Alright, so there's all those guys dead. So we're propelling ourselves around. We cannot open any of these blue boxes underwater because we don't have standard underwater movement. We just have this bizarre aqua stream thing. So I used to get the shard that allows you to move normally underwater and then come back through this area to claim all the chests, which was worth a lot of money because it was a lot of chances to get mahogany. I don't think it's strictly necessary, though, and I've done enough practice runs without doing it where I didn't come up short that I feel pretty good about not doing it. So, now that I'm actually recording it, this will be the run where it's going to be necessary to have the extra money. Don't get hit by the traps. I think I mentioned that trap damage actually scales based on your hit points, which isn't fair. But it is what it is. The problem is, aiming a direction to shoot your water jet by necessity moves you the opposite direction. But hey, we got out of there. We have a decent amount of hit points left, actually, going into this next area. So that was the aggravating area. Now we're going into the really aggravating area. Hidden Desert. This area, first of all, the sandfalls, like, they slow you down, which sucks as you move through them. These monsters, if they hit you, these little ghost guys, give you the slow status effect, which slows you down. You can get poisoned constantly. And then there are fire-breathing Bware monsters that just can wreck your hit points if you're not paying attention. Oh, good, we got poisoned. That's nice. And it's all about tight areas packed with monsters. We're going to eat a Mithridate here. And because there are monsters here that can poison you, the developers were like, oh, well, what we'll do then is we'll put the poison healing Mithridate items in the blue chests, in the random drops. And that'll be sufficient, right? The problem with that is, because Mithridate can roll into the chests... Oh, don't get slowed! Get out of here! Oh, God. All I gotta do is get up here, then I can refill my health. Okay. Because Mithridate is in your blue chest pool, that is just a spot that you're not getting mahogany. Or crystal, which is also fairly valuable. So really aggravating level. I just like make a beeline for the save point to heal. And now we're going to go through and fight Alfred. I think by this point in my initial run, I did have the level 2 blue skies. I think I had made them by now. And maybe I had kick expertise. But again, we just want to get behind him. And you want to be very careful with the drop kicks. Because he likes to put harmful stuff on the floor. And if you're drop kicking next to him, and he runs out from under you, like that, you will fall in whatever damage floor he made. So we want to try to stay behind him if we can. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, that kick just 120 damage or whatever. You want to get him to run away from you while you're following him is the idea. And you can put out a lot of damage. But drop kicking Alfred, especially because when you're double jumping, you can't see what's on the ground. Let's eat my sponge cake. But depending on what Alfred decides to do, this fight can go super fast or can be very, very trolly. I think he was trying to cast... He's got a spell he uses that puts these, like, slowing traps all over the map. I think I interrupted it, which I didn't think was possible. He didn't use his slow trap at all. What is this run? Zangetsuto didn't put his sword on fire. Alfred didn't put out the slow trap. So one of the trickier bosses, but the idea is you want to get behind him, and sometimes he'll teleport away from you, and sometimes he'll run away from you. If he's running away from you, you can just do little short hop kicks to the back of his head and get lots and lots of damage in. He didn't want to do that very often in that fight, which is too bad. Mahogany! Ah, I called it. So now we gotta go back through this level, because we're not quite done here yet. And you'll see I don't try to fight the fire-breathing ball guys at all. I just try to get around them. So I've opened the blue chest in this room, so I can just leave. However, we get our first piece of end-game equipment in this dungeon. Isn't that special? As soon as I Mario 2 my way down this sand pit here. So there's the first of, I think, 2 HP ups in this area. So as long as you don't get lost, it's pretty safe to traverse, because there are HP ups to get. Ah, more Mahogany. We're getting pretty good Mahogany drops. I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing here. Oh, that's not the right wall. Never mind. More Mahogany and Crystal. Nice. This guy here, he always burns me. I guess one thing you could do is drop down the screen and refresh the screen to put him back in his starting position, which might give you enough time to get past him. Or you could just go for the D-boost. You know, whatever you gotta do. Oh, there's a box over here. Let's not miss it. It's hidden in the sand. You can see it on your map, actually. The boxes. The blue boxes that you get. Now we'll kill this guy again. This is number 3. It's really easy to kill these ghosts with all kinds of shards, but very difficult with your kicks. And now I'm slowed. I'm going to wait for this to wear off before I go to the next room. There we go. Doesn't last that long, but boy is it annoying. Okay, there's a frog hiding behind that sandfall there. It's a good place to always get poisoned 100% of the time. Oh, that blue box was just Mithridate. Mithridates, however you pronounce it. Don't burn me, bro! Alright, he did it. He burned me. I got burned. slightly browned. Crystal and Mahogany and Ambrosia. I don't think that's worth anything, but I think it's their rare drop, so. Yeah, I'm liking all this Mahogany. Mahogany is civilization. Secret right up here. One weapon run that I tried doing is oops, I want the box too. Otherwise, what I'm about to say won't make sense. Yeah, potent ammunition. I tried doing a guns-only run of this, but it was untenable. It was just so terrible. Although technically, you get your weapon shard. You get gun expertise a little earlier than you can get kick expertise. But this guy here has a box with a traveler's hat, which not only is the best... I mean, it's good attack power on this hat and defense, but it looks sweet on my head. I love it. This is the best hat we can get in this run. To get a better hat, for our purposes, we would have to do some crafting, which would involve... Oh, there's a box down here I missed. Let's go back. There is a box in the sand in the rocky room. We're going back down. Mario 2 our way back down. There we go. I think that's the only, like, Rottweiler head in the game. Ah, Mahogany. I'm glad I double back. That's 2,000 bucks we have now that we wouldn't have had. I killed all 4 living fossils. I don't need him. And we're almost out of the desert. Or we not. Oh, thank goodness. Do a little more treasure hunting in this area. And then head back to town. Now, this area of the caves that we're going to go into over here is actually an exit from a later level. This room here, where we're going to get this scarf, which is the first scarf we've gotten since the boat. You come out that door and then you fall down that shaft, and in the wall of that shaft is a recipe for the meat hot pot, which is the other strength item that you can get, or strength food that you can get. More Mahogany. I love it. I think that's is that our first fried fish? Yeah, it is. I'm going to save that for healing, because all we get for eating it is intelligence, and I'm not going with an intelligence build. Getting all this Mahogany means we don't have a lot of fried fish, which is going to be our only actual means of healing late in the game, so... I know I'm poisoned, but we're about to warp back to town, so it's not a big deal. Now that we've done that, go on back to town. We'll hit the save point here. There's not actually any crafting or anything we need to do here. Just a reload, and then moving on to the next area of the game. But I need them hit points. Let's get them. So we'll come back in the next video. We will continue to progress in the game. We'll go to the next sorcery lab, and there's all kinds of terrible stuff there.
Shoutouts to Ian Diaz for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.